Elite quarterback recruit Landon Duckworth reportedly no longer visiting this weekend.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Ben Taylor of the Auburn Network, he hosts Auburn Opelika this morning on News Talk WANI, hanging out with us. We'll talk about people keep ranking Auburn high, which is super, super fun. But Landon Duckworth, some kind of breaking news here. Jeffrey Lee of On3 reporting that Landon Duckworth, the Jackson quarterback, 4-star across the board, was supposed to take his official visit this weekend. He is rescheduled to later this month on the 30th, which is when he was supposed to visit Georgia. So you love that. That's great for the Tigers.
Well, unless he's going to Georgia this weekend.
Whatever. I mean, I've said this consistently. I think when it comes to official visits, you want to be as late in the process as possible. Auburn was first. That won't be the case anymore. If what you're saying or speculating is true, I don't know what he's doing this weekend.
It's interesting that you say that. I'm sorry I cut you off there, but it's interesting you say that because it's like transfer portal wise, you want to be first.
Yep.
Recruiting wise, you want to be last.
Right.
So it's kind of strange how that works out.
It is, and just the processes are so much different. I mean, the portal, it's like the microwave, and in the the high school recruitment, it's a slow cooker, right? So but him visiting on the 30th. It looks like that's also the same weekend that the other quarterback target, Travis Burgess from Grayson, is scheduled to take his visit. So are they planning to move Burgess? Or they want them both on campus at the same time? I think that's interesting.
How do you, man, that's like, it's like the bachelor or bachelorette, like you're courting two at one time there. This is like that's kind of strange to me. Number one, I made the joke with you a little bit earlier where I was like, are they going to put them in a room and let them fight? Maybe we see who's tougher. We need some toughness at the quarterback position. So why not do that? But, and I don't know if that's got anything to do with Auburn helping move it, or that's just what Duckworth said. He was like, look, I'm going to move my Georgia trip and I want to come to you guys that weekend. And of course, the staff's not going to say no. They're not going to say, hey, well, we've already got a Cinderella that we're taking to the ball that weekend. So that's not a good weekend for us. Instead, they're like, yep, come on, let's make it happen. And I'm with you. I'm wondering behind the scenes if maybe they've been told that maybe Burgess is moving or he's still staying and they kind of know. I don't know. They kind of have their pecking order, or maybe they already know that maybe they're either high or low on somebody's list in regards to those two. So it's just kind of, I don't know. It's just weird to me.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely more teams involved with Landon than they are with Travis. I mean, Burgess, it seems like it's down to Auburn and North Carolina. And depending on who you talk to, some people say North Carolina's trending. Some people say Auburn's trending. And then with Burgess, he put out, with Duckworth, he put out his top 5. Of course, Auburn's in there. So we'll see who it ends up being if it's one of these guys.
Can I put you on the spot?
Sure.
North Carolina or Auburn? I mean, you got some personal ties to the North Carolina program.
No, I don't.
Who are you pulling for with Bill Belichick over there?
Who am I pulling for between Auburn and North Carolina? Auburn.
Okay. I just didn't know if that Patriot blood ran through you a little bit to maybe have you on the side pulling for him in the background.
I pulled for Bill Belichick for a long time. The current Bill Belichick, I don't know who that guy is. Because that's not the dude I've watched my whole life.
I'm not real sure he knows who he is either, to be honest with you. But that's just a whole different ballgame. We don't even need to go down that road. I just wanted to throw that out there just for every Auburn fan and every one of your personal friends that know that you're a huge Patriots fan. You're a huge Belichick fan. Well, you were, at least the old Belichick.
I'm a Pats fan. Yeah. I mean, Mike Vrabel's like my Patriots coach now, you know?
Exactly. So I just had to get that. I had to throw that in there. Just to
no, sure. Whatever. So yeah, if I had to guess, I still think Travis Burgess is the guy, but I think them moving Duckworth to later in the month is good for Auburn. And I've said that consistently for all the folks that are like, oh, you're just saying that because it happened. No, I've said consistently that I did not like that Auburn was the first weekend of visits for Duckworth. And so I'm glad that they moved back to the process. And I also like that he's not going to Georgia that weekend, which it doesn't make sense for a quarterback to go to Georgia now because of the Jared Curtis guy that they got.
Curtis. Let me ask you this. You said Burgess could be the guy. If you had to pick which one you like better, as far as a Hugh Freeze type system and the way he plays quarterbacks, would you go with Burgess? Is that who? Or
no,
Duckworth?
I think Duckworth is better.
Okay.
I think Duckworth is better. But we'll see. I'm worried about Ole Miss for Duckworth.
Anybody that is chasing a quarterback should worry about Ole Miss, in my opinion. And I say that because I don't know who had the wherewithal to see it and what was released over the weekend. The Giants are the ones that actually want the Giants to put it out. I thought Jackson Dart was just a frat boy that was playing quarterback, and apparently he was super impressive in the meeting rooms. Lane had him fully prepared. I said when I saw that video that by far was one of the best quarterback recruitment videos that Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin could possibly show to anyone that came through the program.
Well, let's even go before that. I mean, we've speculated a bunch of, okay, like they're hosting another quarterback, but they've got a million quarterbacks on the roster already, but they still commit to them.
Yep.
And until that stops, Ole Miss is a threat for any quarterback that they're pursuing until it stops. And it doesn't help that all the, the Jackson Dart stuff looks really good for them. 100% agree with you. 100% agree. So
I was shocked when I saw it because I seriously, the way he acted on the field, the way that his antics on the sideline, that kind of thing, I thought frat boy playing quarterback, natural ability. And the next thing I know, it turns out he actually has had his nose in a book for a bit. And you know that Lane had something to do with that. And I think that'll pay dividends for them.
Yeah. All right. So Landon Duckworth, Travis Burgess, be interesting to see what all happens with that over the next.
But Burgess, you still think is solid?
I mean, I think it's down to Auburn and North Carolina.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Sure.
All right. People keep voting Auburn in their top 25 polls to be higher than I would have expected a month ago. That's wild. For sure. That's next right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. Ben, you can bet on FanDuel right now. $5. If your first $5 bet hits, you get $200 back in bonus bets. Can't beat that.
Nope.
That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. Also, for the futures here, we talk about, with football, 7.5 being the over under for wins for football. For baseball right now, you can bet on the Tigers to win the College World Series at plus 2,300. I don't think that's crazy.
I don't think it's great.
I don't think that's crazy at all.
Not the way they're playing right now, man. They're getting hot at the right time.
Yeah. You bet $100, you get 2.3K if you win. I don't think that's a bad bet. That's just me. Hey, if you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If you win, it gets you get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA and the Locked On Podcast Network. Ben Taylor, the host of Auburn Opelika this morning, part of the Auburn Network family of stations, hanging out with us earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday. It was yesterday. Ari Wasserman of On3 ranked Auburn as the 15th best team in all of college football.
He's a big SEC fan, looks like, on the rankings. I told you I like the talent that Auburn has. I like the defensive backfield. I love the wide receiver room. I think Jackson Arnold, I said it last pod with you, is going to have a breakout in game one. And I think that could honestly set the tone for the rest of the year, which would allow him to be successful throughout the season. I was going to be happy with a top 25 ranking, and I mean like 24 or 25. I really thought it would be one of the possible notables. Of course, I know these aren't official rankings, but teams that didn't quite make the cut.
No, but I do think they influence voters Ben. I mean, a lot of these AP voters, maybe the first week or two, they'll but over the course of the season, a lot of this is groupthink. And so if all these big names are saying consistently Auburn is a top 25 team, that will sway a lot of these voters that don't have time to watch every game.
Well, they will say just what I told you when you and I have talked prior. What do they know that we don't to be so high? Because he's not the only one that's got Auburn ranked high. I mean, that's just 15. You were telling me, I think, 13 possibly in another projected poll is Auburn. And again, I get the athleticism, and I get Jackson Arnold, a 5+ star, which didn't have a great year last year, but they're expecting a breakout year this year. Maybe that's what they're looking at. The schedule, honestly, Zach sets up to jump in that top 25 the first few weeks, because if you get the win at Baylor and then you get a couple of, I'm not going to say cupcakes, but you get a couple of, let's just say, winnable games after that.
Those games should be cupcakes. If they're not, we should be concerned.
Yep. And so you get winnable games after that where you can showcase the skill players that you have against teams that aren't quite as large or athletic. And then if you steal a couple on the road, then all of a sudden you're talking, okay, maybe the 7.5 is a little low according to FanDuel. Maybe it should be higher.
Yeah.
But seeing the 7.5, and I know this is the start of the year. This isn't what the final polls will be. But seeing the 7.5, I'm thinking, okay, if you only get 7 wins, there's no way you finish at 13 or 15, I wouldn't think. So you got to go 8, possibly 9 to be ranked that high. And then the 9 gets you in the conversation of possible playoff team, depending on who you beat and who loses around you. So it's interesting that that's 2 notable names on 3. And I think you told me Andy Katz was maybe another, or
most of them are from on 3.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're looking at 2 of the ones you've shown.
JD Piquel is another one. He's on 3. Jake Crane, I don't know if he's put his officially out, but I imagine he would have him in the top 25. So, I mean, it's becoming more and more of an acceptable thing to put Auburn as high as 13, which is what Staples did.
That's it. Staples.
And there's a few folks that they left out of there, but that are leaving Auburn out, which is expected and fine. But a lot of folks really believing in, I guess, consecutive recruiting classes and transfer portal success. And I mean, I guess just this belief that Hugh Freeze got his quarterback with Jackson Arnold. So there's a lot to believe in.
And a pretty darn good backup. And, and really too deep. I mean, if you want to talk about the transfer from Stanford. But I think a lot of it has to do, you and I discussed this, I think a couple of pods ago. I think Auburn has put themselves in a good position where now they're getting people out of the portal to be depth pieces instead of starters like they had to before. And maybe that says
in the
something.
Spring window. Right.
Yeah. So maybe that says something about the team that, hey, these guys seem to be set because they're going out and finding depth in case they have an injury instead of going out and finding holes to fill. And that, I think that leads to team success as well. So again, I don't think there's any magic fairy dust you can put on it that'll say they're over ranking them or under ranking, but I just 13 and 15 and really top 20 seems a bit high to me, but that's also because I don't want to let my orange and blue glasses all of a sudden take control of my brain. And
yeah, no, I'm ready to get hurt again. 100%. Ben, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
AUnetwork.com is one of the best places to find me, and you can click on the WNI logo. We do sports each and every morning just after 7.
That's it. All right. Yeah, please like the video. Please subscribe, and we'll see you next time. This has been Locked On Auburn.